What a nice summer afternoon, right? The weather changes like in autumn almost. And that's what it is. It is autumn. These sunglasses are losing their coating. These are Ray-Bans. I bought them in 2016 in Canada while I was staying in Cochrane near the Bow River, I think. It's in Alberta. Maybe there's a viewer from Canada that knows this place. I bought these glasses in the Mountain View Optometry for $220. Why are these so expensive? When I was a pilot, I needed some G15 glass, so I bought Ray-Ban Aviator, the classic, and I used them.
Und die Delta Echo Delta Juliet Romeo verlässt die Kontrollzone in Richtung Nordwesten. Delta Juliet Romeo verlässt der Frequenz genehmigt. Tschüss und einen schönen Tag noch.
And they're still good, they're still intact. But these, well, nonetheless, got some questions about the ZF, and I did not look them through. I will just answer them spontaneously. So this video are 10, I took 10 questions about the ZF. Since it is pretty new, I own it for about a week now. These are my first impressions. So, first question. Why did I choose the ZF over other mirrorless cameras? Well, I was debating this or another Sony camera. I looked at some Canon cameras like the RP or R5, but I decided to buy this one. And this is not because simply of the specs, because the specs are so good. No, for me, it's a question of design. I like the old design. I like these knobs, and I like that I can dial in everything like on my first cameras when I was a child, my first single reflex cameras. So this is why I bought this, and because it has a full frame sensor like the Canon and the Sony has, but I'm pretty sure that this camera would be more capable of render 3D pop. This was, well, not the main reason, but it was one of the reasons why I decided to buy this one. And I like the Nikon glass, and I thought that I could adapt my existing Sony glass to that system. So these were some reasons, despite the design that is pretty cool. And this camera is packed with very good specs regarding video. So it's an all-in-one system, in my opinion. That was why I bought this one. Second question. How does it feel ergonomically when shooting? Well, is it as retro as it looks in photos? Yes, it is. I like the weight of the camera, but I do not like the ergonomics that much. You see, if you, for example, want to dial something, you cannot do it one-handed. You have to always push a little button to control the knob. This is not a flaw for me, not per se, but it is more difficult to use it than, let's say, a Sony camera that was built for that. It was built for video. This camera, I do not know what it was built for. It is retro, it looks retro, it feels retro. It's very slim, and you got a very terrible grip to it. So when I first took it out of the box and I tried the lens on and so on, then, well, it felt like you could lose it. You could lose it when shooting upwards. That's not that good, but other than that, well, it feels retro, yes. It's metal and it has a nice texture to it. It does not feel as plasticky as, for example, the Sony a6700. So, yes. And I like the shutter sound, by the way. Third question, and then we will change the perspective. Image quality and low light. Well, I like the colors. I like the colors pretty much. I oftentimes use the standard profile for when taking pictures, and I like the charcoal profile. This is a kind of a black and white, a soft black and white profile. I really like this effect. It's almost like they copied some of the Fuji stuff. So, well, the image quality is good. I think it is better than on the A7S, of course, and I like the pictures more than the pictures that come out of the A6700, but still I think the A6700 has a bit better image quality. But overall, this might be the best camera that I've ever owned in regards to image quality. And in low light I tested it once with video and one time with photos so far. It was alright. It's not A7S like. Of course not, because you got too much megapixels, right? 24 I think it has. So the image quality in low light is not that good, and I have not yet found out if there is a dual base ISO. Maybe one of you knows this and can write it down in the comments below. Image quality in low light is good, so you can use it, but well, there will be a bit of noise. So let's change the perspective. Doesn't the manual control layout slow you down? Yes, it does actually. It does. You can use it like any other camera. You can just dial in like C, I think it is, and 1/3 step. Then you can change aperture and of course the shutter speed with the dials like any other camera. Then it will not slow you down, but it is intended to slow you down. And I like it. I like the slowing down aspects of it. I really like it. So there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. How well does the autofocus perform? Well, so far so good. At least I can see that it realizes I'm in the shot, and it sticks to your eyes. You see two rectangles around your eyes, and it will almost never lose you. At least with native lenses, from what I have experienced so far. Even if you go out of the frame and come back in, it will realize that you are there and stick to you. It's pretty good. It is not as gluey, I would say, as the Sony a6700. It is faster though, but it's alright. Have I used it? 4K quality, overheating and stabilization. Well, this is 4K now. I started to shoot video with this camera in HD, like I always do, because I think it is enough. But now I try out the 4K capabilities. And so far, I'm pretty confident that it works good. I have no clue if it will overheat or not. Since there is a menu for overheating, and you can change at what moment the camera will shut down, I think it will and could potentially overheat. But right now we got around 18 degrees here, so no. I think it will not overheat that fast. Maybe now it will overheat. Wouldn't that be nice? And the stabilization is pretty good, actually. It's pretty good from what I've seen, so no problem there. The flip-out screen... Is the flip-out screen good for traditional photography? No. No, it's not. For traditional photography, if you can even call it that, because traditional photography for me is an analog camera. Or maybe a camera, an older SLR camera, DSLR cameras. This is traditional photography. Even a DSLR is not traditional, but no. The flip-out screen is not especially for traditional photography. A flip-up screen or tilted screen would be better for photography, in my opinion, like the Fuji X-T3. This is a pretty good design, I think. You can tilt it up and down and to one side. I think it is to the right side. This is better for photography, in my opinion. The flip-out screen is, of course, good for video. I would not use this camera for vlogging because it's pretty heavy and you are carrying a pretty chunky piece of engineering around. I would not do that, but you could. Like right now I can see I'm actually in the shot. I cannot do that with the A7S or the Fuji X-T3. For the last three questions we will change perspective again. Oh, we should have some 3D pop here. Even that we are tethered today, because my wireless microphones have to load, have to charge. 8th question. Lens selection for the Z mount. Are there any must-haves? This one, the 40mm f2 is a must-have. It's kind of a, well, in-between focal length, between the 35 and the 50. But I really like it. I really like it. And of course, I like the 3D pop of it. It's lightweight, it's simple. It's not that fast of an aperture with f2, but it's enough, I think. No. So, I would say this is a must-have lens. It's affordable, it's lightweight, and it gives you a lot of 3D pop. And the 50mm f1.4, well, I heard good things about it. Maybe I will try it out, but it's just 10mm more. It's like owning a 55 and buying a 50 also. You will not need it. You do not need all this glass. You need maybe 3 primes. That's all. Or if you're on the run, You need a telezoom, a good one with a fixed aperture. That's it. So I think the 40 would be a must-have lens for me. Next question. What annoys me about it? It's a good question. So far, nothing really annoys me to a degree where I would consider selling it. I think it's the best camera. That's a camera you want to take out for dinner, but not to shoot, but to buy at dinner. It's a camera that you can be emotionally attached to, connected to, right? Not like to a pet or a person, but you know what I mean. There are some things that we own that we got a connection to. And cameras, well, they can. And this camera, I think it's a candidate for that. That's a camera you will buy an ice cream at the ice cream truck to enjoy it with the camera and not to shoot your ice cone. I would say the grip is pretty bad. I know it is by design and so on, but the grip is pretty bad. But other than that, well, maybe that the microphone input is not on top, but it's down at the bottom. That's something that's a bit annoying, but not that bad. The battery, well, the camera uses almost the same battery. You got the same, right? But you can use these batteries. I can use them for my old Nikon 7000 and for my 800. But I cannot use the batteries of the D800 and the D7000 in this. It will always tell you, load your battery, but it is fully loaded. I think it's something changed about the capacity or whatever. But the batteries are still the same in terms of size. It's alright, it's convenient maybe if it would work, but it doesn't. So, but it's not a quirk for that. You got no specific user menu, like you cannot save some of your own settings to just get them when you need them, right? Like C1, C2, C3, for example, shooting HD, 4K and slow-mo or whatever it is what you want to shoot, right? You do not have this on this camera, so that's a bit bad, but otherwise maybe the design would not be as good. You got only two buttons in front. One is a customizable button and the other is to release the lens. So I think it's alright. So I do not know. For right now I did not come across some major quirks. The grip is pretty bad. But other than that, I like it so far. Last question. Someone is debating buying ZF or X-T3 or A7C2. What would I suggest? Well, the Sony will most likely be flat. If you are looking for a 3D pop, the Sony most likely will not. Maybe you have different experiences, let me know in the comments, but in my opinion it should render pretty flat, even though it has a similar sized sensor megapixel wise and so on, but it should render differently. My experience made me believe that this will most likely be the case. The X-T5 is a different story. It has way more megapixels than this one, but I think it will still render good, even though the pixel pitch is less. The pixel pitch of the Fuji X-T3 is even less than on the A6700, but still the A6700 produces flatter images than the X-T3. So if you're debating buying this one, or what did you say, the X-T5 or the A7C2, I would buy this one. Otherwise I would have bought another one, but the Fuji, well, if you're into APS-C and the Fuji lenses, then go ahead and buy a Fuji, but you do not need the X-T5. You can buy an X-T3 and still use the same lenses. That's what I did. But I would not recommend the Sony A7C2. All these numbers. It's like in cars, right? Numbers. Audi A8, A7, A7. I got a BMW 740, 750. Nonetheless, buy this one. That's a good one. And you will like it. I promise you that. In regards to lenses, well, the Z mount, I don't know. I will see. So far, I think there are 3 good lenses. There are more, of course, but as I'm aware of, it's the 40, f2, it's the 50 f1.4 and the 50 f1.2 S lens. These should be pretty good. What was that? But other than that, I'm not sure for it now. I have to test it out, so I would still recommend this one. And because you can adapt Sony glass to it. So if you already have Sony glass, just buy this one and a good, what the hell? And a good adapter. That's it. So I would recommend the ZF. And this is not because I bought it. So what do you think about the look? Did you like the look? This has 3D pop. Of course it has. It's such a nice lens. It's such a nice combination. See you in the next one.